All right, what's up, people? Avengers Endgame. Hope you guys saw it. Would be really fucking awesome. You know what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and pull this out because I think I might need it. Of course, I could use this too. This would be interesting. This is going to be Buddhism 302. Now, what we're dealing with here is the second of the tree. Well, it's Trikaya, the three bodies. And I kept abbreviating it in my last video. I just say Sambogakaya, but it's Sambogakaya. That's the correct pronunciation. Nobody got the no prize on that, but I always abbreviate it when I say it in English because it's that extra GA, Sambogakaya, right? But that's important, I guess. I guess that's important in another language, but to me, it's not so important. What I want to do, though, is I want to draw this back to the threefold teachings of Dzogchen. And referencing back to Nirmanakaya, which I believe maps onto what's called Semsday, which is mind class, which is my particular, it's the lowest of the three. So when I say I'm a black belt, I mean I'm the lowest of the level black belts, because that's well, it's not even that. It's like how you choose to get to that thing that you need to get to, which is the same thing in all three cases. But Semsday is the mind class, and that corresponds to Nirmanakaya, which is again the individuated self within particularity. See my last video for that. This body, Sambogakaya, right? I'll probably mispronounce it a billion times just because my English language mind works a certain way. So I just, like I say, I get rid of that thing. Corresponds to Longede, which is what's known as space class. I know, right? You want to be a Star Trek enthusiast, right? You're going to go into outer space with this shit. And actually, that's what you do. Because you realize that, again, when we start talking about the mandalas, let's pick a fucking, I'm going to try to fucking pick a good mandala. Is this one good? Well, they're all good. I mean, again, that's a raffle mandala. Shit, I always keep, hey, it's a blown up image of that. Well, these are more, especially this one. This is the one that's on the cover too, by the way. They're not pictorialized. Which, I mean, they don't need to be. Once you really understand what's going on. Again, here's the construction of it. With, again, it's a three-dimensional representation. So, okay, let's just take this one for fuck's sake, because I don't have all day to be flipping around. You don't either. The thing in the middle, that's Nirmanakaya, right? Well, it's an instantiated point. Everything else, the projection around that, matter of fact, it's multi-layered. It's always multi-dimensional. So, like, you can center here, right? But then everything else around here, that's Sambogakaya. That's what you're looking at. So you're looking at, you always have a centered being, and then you always have a world field, a field around it. And that's what we're talking about. But we're talking about that, actually, on a whole nother level. Because what we're really talking about is, we're talking about the manifestations of universes themselves. Or what's commonly called the multiverse, although the Tibetans knew about this a long time before our theoretical physicists started imagining such things to solve problems that they didn't know existed at the time. But the Buddhists knew. They knew that this thing must exist. And it must exist because of deeper levels within the teachings, which we'll get to, which is basically Dharmakaya. But they knew that that had to be the case. And so their concept of space, their concept of what might commonly be called extension, or the ability to manifest dimensionally. Like we talk about 3D space. Well, that's just the space we inhabit. There are infinite numbers of spaces that are x-dimensional. And X is a variable, so that could mean any number. That could mean one-dimensional. It could mean two-dimensional. It could mean 16-dimensional. Or as you commonly hear, you know, some people say 13-dimensional physics. You know, that kind of superstring shit that I think is bullshit. But anyway, some people think that's real. And that could be real. What if it is? So fucking what? It's a part of Longete, which is, well, that's the method of accessing it, right? But you're talking about Sambogakaya. You're talking about the extension body of the Buddha. Meaning you've established, okay, see what we're doing here is we're establishing the self, the center, Nirmanakaya, which is the thing in the middle of the fucking mandala. And then we're also blowing it up as an explosion, actually. These things are not, when you see them on paper, you're like, oh, it's a static image. No, it's an explosion. It's like the birth of a star or something like that, or a supernova, something like that, or a black hole, something like that. They're all, you know, mirror inverses of each other. And so what's really happening is that you need this pure extensionality in order to account for the individual, because you can't have the individual otherwise. So he has to be placed, he, she, it. These are all fictions, by the way. These are all Maya. There is no abiding self, you know. That's Anatman. I made a video on that. There is no abiding self. But there needs to be the appearance of the self. And in order to accomplish that, you need an infinite well of possibilities, or what is the expansion body, or Sambogakaya. So that's the second of the Kayas. I try not to make, I'm trying not to make these videos too long, because, you know, I just want to give you a tease for it. If you want to go look this shit up, it is available. You know, you can find this stuff out. You're always going to, remember, anything that you get told to you, even from my perspective, is always going to be from a perspective. My perspective tends to be, like I say, Tibetan school, Nyingma, which is the highest teaching, it's black belt level, and then, like I say, Semsday, which is, they would say that's the lowest of the black belts, even though it's all just your perspective at that point. Once you get that level, you really understand that they're all kind of just catered to individual ways of understanding the world. Like, you know, personality types, in other words. So yeah. Sambogakaya. I didn't fuck it up once in this video, even though I fucked it up every time in the last one. And I hope you guys saw Endgame. It was awesome.